Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name's Mike Piwowarski, coming to you live from the East Coast. It's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most, here on The Rundown. Two-way views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's
Friday.
Thank God it's
Put a smile on your face. God love it, sir. How are you doing this fine Friday afternoon, or for you evening?
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Good weekends going so far. We'll see how it works out. Got a couple days left. We'll see how it goes.
Excellent. Yeah, we've got I've got some honeydews around the house. We're having some friends over to watch the Super Bowl on Sunday. My son-in-law, being a big Patriots fan, wants to celebrate their upcoming loss.
Oh, geez, he's just like being a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't even realize the Super Bowl was this weekend, so all good, I guess.
Well, now you said you might actually watch the Super Bowl after the rousing national anthem there in the divisional game.
I plan on it. I just, figured it would pop up when it came up. I just didn't realize it was this weekend. So
okay. Yeah.
Yep.
It is this upcoming weekend. It is the Seattle Seahawks versus the New England Patriots. It's going to be interesting, to say the least.
It sounds exciting. I can't wait to see the festivities.
Between you and I, honestly, for me, the biggest thing is the food. We always do a potluck thing, and everyone always we only invite friends who can cook really well. So
Gotcha. That's a good thing.
They're not the only ones we invite, but we make sure they're first on the list.
We've got friends we get together every once in a while and go back and forth between the 3 or 4 houses and have dinner, and it's dinners we cook because it's a bunch of us good cooks. And we've had people in that group before that they couldn't get ramen right, and we're like, you're out. You're not in anymore. You can't even visit. You can't even visit because you can't produce. So,
well, see, my wife is a good cook. My daughter's a good cook. I'm really good at eating.
There you go.
And I can cook meat. I'm really good. I'm really good at good with the grill. Good with the grill. But for the most part, I'd rather eat than cook.
Good with the grill. Yeah, I did. I love the grill. Love cooking on the grill, and I can still remember hearing my daughter yell when she was younger, "What's for dinner?" And her mother told her, and she went, "We're having meat again. He's always making the meat."
Yeah, so. You got to raise him better. Like meat. I'm like, if there's no meat, it's not a meal.
Well, listen, she was getting like T-bones for breakfast, back then, So.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
It's not. Just I guess for her it was too much of the meats.
Well, now that she's lived doing the dorm life, and is she still doing the dorm life?
Yes.
Okay, so she gets a chance to experience dorm food. I bet you she appreciates home cooking a lot more.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
I know I did. I did. I know my kids did. Yeah, it's just kind of a thing.
I'm a fan of industrial food. I like going to a random cafeteria and just getting what they got.
Yeah, the problem is that it generally lacks kind of like, I don't know, seasoning and spice, and because they got to make it kind of generic for everybody. So you have to buy your own spices.
Don't get me wrong. I spend a lot of time at the condiment table on the way off the line. So.
There you go. Yes, sir, Bob. But hey, there's some things you can't get wrong. That they generally don't get wrong. Tater tots. You don't get the tater tots wrong in the dorms. It's all good.
No, tater tots are best out because you get that giant industrial deep fryer flavor to them.
Oh yeah. That grease that's been there for.
Yeah, they get the crisp just right. Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yeah. All right. Well, needless to say, we will definitely be enjoying a bunch of that for Super Bowl. But let's go ahead and get into today's program and start off the way we usually do with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep, Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Get yourself some AR barrels. They got everything you can desire. They got rifle caliber, pistol caliber, and any length. So get on over there, hit them up at hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to hogholsters.com. That's HAWG, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, personal gear, they got it all. Get your group together, get your agency together. Place an order at uscombatgear.com, where you get everything except gun.
Also, I want to remind you, coming up on the 21st, that's a little more than 2 weeks away, the 9th annual 2A Freedom Fest in Summerfield, Florida. That's, by the way, for those of you who are flying in, probably, I think the closest airport is probably Orlando, but you're going to want to go to this. Trust me, folks. It's going to be Second Amendment advocates from all over the country advocating and teaching you how to advocate for your right to keep and bear arms. There are going to be people from media. There are going to be people from government. There are going to be people from within the industry. We're talking FFLs and firearms trainers. There are going to be people who've written books, people who write news articles, people who just go on the news and talk trash about anti-gunners. The whole gamut will be there, and you're going to get a chance to hang out with them. And the best part is if you go for the camping event, that's Friday through Sunday, and it only costs you $55. And that's really the only cost for the entire event. So Mike will be there, I will be there, and a number of our friends, folks that we've had here on the program or had on our individual programs, will be there as well. You're going to want to come hang out, have a good time. Once again, that's 2A Freedom Fest in Summerfield, Florida at Runaway Campers.
Yeah, about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of Orlando. It's in that weird spot of the state where Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville, Daytona, and Gainesville Airport all work. Gainesville being the close, but that's a minor hub. So
there you go. There you go. So if you guys get a chance, come on out. We would love to have you. Also, want to remind you, if you're watching this program, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, you're watching us live. We would love to hear what you have to say. We'd love to have you give us a shout out. Let us know where you're watching or listening from. Would love to hear what you think about the show in general and what you think about today's topic. Even if you disagree with us, we encourage you to call in or encourage you to comment because, that gives us an opportunity to mock you.
Oh, wow. Is that a mockingbird?
Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
gotta love it.
Definitely gotta love it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into today's news stories. And the top of the news, and I almost hate that we have to talk about this, but I think we have to talk about this. And that has to do with the recent thing that has happened that has Donald Trump on the quote unquote hot seat. And I say the hot seat because if one goes to media and you go and you check it out, and I thought I had that thing saved. Let me do this. Let me go Trump racist video. And sure enough, you get all of these funky stories about how Trump has posted on social media this racist video depicting the Obamas as apes and then removes it because, he knew it was inappropriate, but he posted it anyway. But he's really a racist. And I wanted you to see the video because all they ever really show you is what you saw in the thumbnail for this video. But I wanted you to see the video and make some observations. And I'll make Mike the guinea pig and let him make some observations about it. And anyway, I just think you need to see the whole thing and then be able to communicate about it in context.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. In the jungle, the quiet jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
All right, Mike, fire away.
So first off, Craig, your comment to me about me being a guinea pig is more racist to my Italian heritage than this video is racist to anybody in it. This is
Did I say guinea pig?
You said I was going to be a guinea pig for this video.
Well, I guess I was inadvertently racist. I will make sure to sign myself up for racial sensitivity training.
Again, my point exactly. You were inadvertently, racist, which is 100% more racist than this video is. Listen, if it's racist that the Obamas are, I listen. It was so quick. It's a cartoon. I don't know if they're apes or gorillas. Then what is Joe Biden? Does that mean he's black also because they made him out to be a baboon? Is that they were given animals in the Serengeti there or throughout Africa, and that's what they got. I think it's very, very clear that this man Donald Trump doesn't have a racist bone in his body. I mean, with everything, with races, religions, sexual orientations or choices, he doesn't care. You do the job, it means nothing to him who you are. It's the person in front of him, the character of the person, not the color of their skin, so to speak. What he forwarded this with 13 other things that he forwarded last night. It's just, you get over it. You think too much of yourself. If you really think that this was racist, then you got bigger issues in your own life.
I don't disagree with a word that you said. Here's the thing, and I don't. Part of the challenge with all of this is the fact that he is president of the United States, and in my opinion, needs to be a little more careful about the things, what he communicates and how he communicates it. Now, the challenge is people like him because he says what's on his mind. And if I am not looking, if the Obamas were, say, the Timon and Pumbaa instead of the Clintons, would this even be a thing? No. People wouldn't even think, or for some people it would still be a thing just because, well, he made black people animals. Well, I'm sorry, you're right. Those people got an issue. The thing that gets me is just the lack of forethought. And I don't think that Donald Trump sent this. I think this was some staffer who thought this was funny, but it was dumb. It was dumb because the black people as gorillas or as orangutans or as monkeys, I'm just like, it is an example. It is one of the examples of Donald Trump's people doing or saying something that's just like, okay, this is a fight. This is an issue you should have never had to deal with. I think Trump, I think, and I take exception of the initially coming out and just defending it. My first thing is, okay, yeah, I can see the problem with the video. Yeah, it shouldn't have been sent out on my Truth Social. I apologize. There was no racist intent, and using these same exact explanations that you used, but definitely the dude who did not have the forethought enough to realize this probably wasn't the best thing to send out on Donald Trump's Truth Social. The person who didn't have that forethought is probably somebody who should not have the send button anywhere near them.
Listen, I'm willing to even acquiesce that he sent it out, Craig. Let's say he sent it out. I think you're probably more right. It was probably a staffer, but let's say he sent it out. Again, the fact that he doesn't see race at all, and once you understand that, but of course we don't because he's a Nazi, right, or whatever he is. He's Hitler. They think that he is. I might have had a bit of concern, just concern. I wouldn't have thought it was racism, but Biden was in there as a primate also. So what does that mean? That means he didn't see it anyway as perhaps racist. Now I get, Craig, you tell me this is your realm, not mine, that black people, African American people are a little more sensitive when it comes to comparing them, or they think they're being compared to apes. And I mean, we can go all the way back to Howard Cosell with his faux pas, when he said that. But where it's such a place, date, and time. Mm-hmm. What's the statute of limitations? How many centuries do we need before nobody gives a crap about that anymore?
Well,
we just move on?
first of all, I don't know that we will ever get there. What I do know is most of us know we're not there now.
Right. Thank you.
And you know, I hate to say this, but Donald Trump, once again, being over the age of 70, and if you're over the age of 70 and you're watching this, I apologize in advance, but this is true. There are things that once you hit that age, and for some, it's for that 70 is kind of the real defining line, maybe 75, but there are things that you think or things that you see or things that you will share that before you think, you know what, I may agree with it. I may think it's funny, but this probably isn't the best representation. This probably isn't the best thing for me to say, or this isn't the best thing for me to forward or for me to post. And
Right.
so
Well,
could I see that definitely happening?
Yeah.
Yes, I could. Does that mean that he is racist? No, it does not.
Right.
Poor judge. I'm going to tell you right now, my mother in her 60s would say some stuff that I was like, ooh, wow.
Right.
Yeah. Right. My mother was black.
The point I was going to make exactly. Listen, he's
Yeah.
what, 20 years older than us, Donald Trump, right?
Yes. Mhm.
That's a complete different generation. You know, that's,
Right.
I mean, there's a huge dividing line there
Right.
between what was acceptable for them to say the first half of their lives compared to
Mhm.
what, you know, we would go to jail for now.
Right.
You know, I mean, and it was the things that were not said, you know, in a joke behind a corner. These were things that were said openly and were acceptable then, you know, and it's just, it's, that's what it is. Now,
Well,
I don't think that he saw this one bit as racist at all. I do give them, you know, listen, a little, a pat on the back, I guess. You know, initially when he was confronted about it, he said, "Get over it," just like I said here, starting this off. But then when members of his own party and senior members of the party came and said, "Hey, you may not have been offended by it. It's probably not offensive, but other people are, so we should probably take it down." He said, "Okay."
well, Tim Scott, the only black member of the U.S. black Republican member of the U.S. Senate, says it's the most racist thing he's seen come out of this White House. Now, mind you, that doesn't mean that anything racist before has come out of the White House, and maybe this has the appearance of racism. But once again, I'm not trying to excuse it, because I just think it was, if Donald Trump did it, then Donald Trump needs to own it, and he needs to just say, you know what, I apologize. That wasn't my intention, but I can see how someone could take it that way. If it was a staffer, I would tell the staffer, yeah, you lose all send button privileges.
My apology on this would be the non-apology. I'm sorry you were offended by it. I'll take it down to please you. This is what I expected Donald Trump, for him to speak his mind and put things out there. I don't need him. I'm not saying I want him to put out anything less tomorrow night. This is what he does, and this is the guy I elected.
Well, it's the guy I expect. It's the guy I expect. And once again, I also expect the guy that I expect is a guy who is from time to time going to put his foot in his mouth, and he's going to chew on his toes. He just is. And that's, that's, you take the good with the bad. And I will still, because here's the thing. This is also a guy who is passing policies that are helping people of all colors live safer in their communities, to help them to make more money and have more money to be able to spend money on their families. And that's regardless of their race.
Listen,
So,
it's like we talked about yesterday with Second Amendment rights. We talked about it yesterday with Second Amendment rights, Greg. Same applies here. No president, except maybe Abraham Lincoln, has ever done more for minorities than Donald Trump has done.
I would encourage anybody out there, if you got an argument against it, put it out there. Because I've seen people make this argument. I've seen people lay out and give people the opportunity to make this argument, and I haven't seen anybody be able to step up to the plate and be able to address it. So, I just want to say, it's okay to not like him putting out this video. It's okay to disagree with him. It's okay to believe that, it's racist. But what's not okay is acting like, taking this video in and of itself, this action, not putting it in the complete context of who Donald Trump is, what the full video is, because it's not the video at all that's racist. It's the fact that two people, not, by the way, the only two black people in the video, right? Yeah, one that was as a hippo, which was I mean, if there's anything damning about this in terms of the thought that went into this is that you had Whoopi Goldberg as a hippo.
Yeah, where's
right?
the fat shaming people? Where are they?
Right,
With-
right.
with-
It's the fact that you had Adam Schiff, the thinnest neck I've ever seen, as the giraffe, and then you had Pritzker as the elephant. There, some forethought went into the assignment of the animals.
Yeah.
We do have to. So one does have to wonder about the person who made the video. What were they thinking?
Well, and the only couple there in the video was the first two.
Well,
And they
yes.
assigned them together, you know?
And yeah, and they could have switched up Bill and Hillary and could have made them the apes, and then made the Obamas the Timon and Pumbaa. Which one would have been Timon?
Well, I think it's a toss up, right?
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. American Crossfire, who's tuned in from minute one, says if you want to see a racist president, look up Woodrow Wilson. Yes, our progressive president, the one who desired us to be more like the Soviet Union. Yes, Woodrow Wilson was definitely a racist.
Look up the history of LBJ and welfare. See what he said there.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, we have some folks who are racist in their policies.
Yeah.
Right. Not just racist in something that they posted. So
Yeah,
anyway,
LBJ
I just felt it was necessary to see, like I said, see something, say something. I thought it would be good for us to say something and give you an opportunity to see the entire video, because some folks aren't going to bother. Most of the folks I know who are critical of it haven't even seen the video.
Yeah. And listen, I get the screenshot of the Obamas might appear racist unless you've seen the rest of the video.
Exactly. All right, next up we have now, by the way, someone dealing with a real crime. A Maryland man has been charged with attempted murder of Trump appointee to the Office of Budget Management, Russell Vought. This being reported by the folks over at Breitbart. A Maryland man has been charged with the attempted murder of Trump-appointed Russell Vought, director of the Office of Management and Budget. Colin DeMarco, 26, who reportedly feared Trump's re-election would lead to a fascist takeover, was charged after he appeared at Vaught's Northern Virginia home wearing a surgical mask and gloves, court records show. U.S. Marshals Service reportedly found during the investigation that DeMarco had claimed to have written a manifesto that detailed weapons and body disposal guide per CBS News. And once again, this is an example of the sort of crazies that are empowered by the Democratic Party and the permission structure that they create with their rhetoric.
Yeah, absolutely right, Craig. And ironically, how come now it's Maryland man? I thought everybody from Maryland man was married father of three as a victim. I thought that's what they were. Illegal immigrant married father of three. Oh, no, he was Maryland man, remember? Yeah, Craig, this is just more of the left making this okay. Allowing this to occur with their rhetoric. This is them feeding their nonsense, their BS to the public, and this is what that creates.
Well, I got into an argument with a discussion with someone today, and we were talking about, I'm like, look, his insistence was, well, I've heard on a number of occasions Mayor Fry and Governor Walz tell people to peacefully protest. But I'm like, if you constantly are telling people to go out and resist, and 9.9 times out of 10 they act violently, don't you think maybe you ought to stop telling them to resist, to telling them to stop going out and protest, stop creating the permission structure, stop calling them Nazis? And sure enough, the guy said, well, if they don't want to be called Nazis, they shouldn't act like Nazis. I said, see, you're part of the problem.
Yeah. Somebody else that's never picked up a history book to see what the Nazis really did.
Exactly. They didn't, for example, go, because keep in mind, if we're going to talk about Nazis, keep in mind, this is the guy, Tim Walz, who had the police going door to door telling people they weren't allowed to go in the streets or they would get arrested, right, during COVID. This is the one who created a hotline for people to call in and snitch on their neighbors so that his police, his secret police, could come and arrest them if they had more than 10 people at their house.
Yeah. The same
That's
one who
what the
allowed
Nazis did.
the same one who allowed ICE to work within the state prisons during the last administration to take these people, illegal immigrants, and send them away. But all of a sudden that Donald Trump is the president, we don't do that anymore.
Funny how that works, isn't it? Yeah, no, we don't work. We don't. Anyway, I'm like, people. It's funny how people they just don't see the things that the left does. And once again, I'm saying overall, we all need to kind of tone down on the rhetoric.
Chill, baby. Chill.
But we all need to chill. But ultimately, what I will continue to say is this: you don't see, for the most part, people in leadership on the right going out and creating these permission structures. You don't, and by the way, for the most part, you don't see people on the right going out and acting upon those permission structures. You generally see people on the left.
No. Well, listen, how many times did Kamala say it in her speech when she lost, to go out there and resist, and fight.
Yep, exactly.
She set the tone, right?
Right. But when Donald Trump says, peacefully go to the Capitol and make your voices heard, all of a sudden they skip the whole peacefully.
Yeah.
Peacefully is not a word they hear. I guess maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it's the tone of his voice or something like that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe old white men sound different to them when they're old Republican white men sound different. And so there's certain words they can't hear.
Yeah, it's a lot of people with the TDS is what we got.
Yes, for those of you who do not know, that is Trump derangement syndrome. It's a thing. And next up, Benghazi terror suspect extradited to the U.S. to face charges appears in federal court. I thought this one totally caught me by surprise. This being reported by the folks over at Fox News, the U.S. has arrested Zubair al-Bakash, allegedly to be one of the leaders of the 2012 attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, who said he has, quote, complete trust in the court and jury during his first hearing in federal court Friday in Washington, D.C. Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro announced al-Bakash's arrest earlier Friday. Bondi said that al-Bakash was charged with charges of murder, terror, and arson, all related to the 2012 attack. It says he will now face American justice on American soil. We will prosecute this alleged terrorist to the fullest extent of the law, Bondi said on Friday. Let this case serve as a reminder. If you commit a crime against the American people anywhere in the world, President Trump's Justice Department will find you. It will not happen overnight, but it will happen. And you can run, but you cannot hide. And this is like the very definition of you can run, but you can't hide. Because, I mean, we're talking, 14 years later?
Yeah. By the way, put another checkbox in the campaign promises fulfilled, right? When they told you that exactly what Craig just said, that nobody can hide from them. They'll find you. If you commit crimes against Americans at home or abroad, they will come after you. This is something that the Obama administration didn't do and the Biden administration didn't do. They didn't care. But in fact, Craig, I believe the quote was, "What difference does it make?" Right? Well, I'll tell you what difference it makes. Americans died, and now somebody's going to go to prison for it.
And that is not a bad thing. I'm wondering if he knows anything about server being wiped.
His butt's been wiped.
His butt's been wiped. No, different server.
Different wipe. Okay, got it.
Different wipe. But this was a big deal. And, if nothing else, I want to see the discussion about what went on in Benghazi start to happen again, because, I mean, we're talking about a real I don't know if you want to call it a bureaucratic failure or a political failure, but people died as a result of that. really, and I still to this day believe that Hillary Clinton and the played a significant role in the Obama administration, played a significant role in the delays that kept our people from being able to do what they needed to do to save the lives of those individuals, including an ambassador who lost his life.
Yeah, Chris Stevenson. And listen, I've interviewed many of the people that were there at Benghazi, and the same disdain they had for that administration. Listen, and there's an old saying that we had in the Army, when you were dealing with politicians or people that had little regard for the military, and it was soldiers and dogs keep off the grass, and that's how that administration treated the military.
Wow, I had not heard that saying before, but it fits for some of these folks where they have, instead of having people who really understand and respect the military, you have these academic politicos making these decisions and without any real regard for the safety of our soldiers, because they don't know or understand what's going on the ground. And that's why whenever you have decisions like these being made, you got to have people there at least playing a significant role in those decisions who understand what it is to be under fire, so that you can make decisions that's going to help and protect them. Because ultimately, yes, mission is job one. Job two is protecting our soldiers and protecting them and bringing them home safely.
Yeah, I got a little bit of dog in the fight there. So let's just
yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I do not claim to be an expert, nor have I served. That's why I know if I were in a position where I've got to be making decisions, I want people who do know what the hell they're talking about there in my ear, helping me make those decisions. Because these were deaths that didn't have to happen.
Absolutely right. 100%.
Yeah. All right. California sues activists for distributing computer code. I got to be honest. I'm wondering about this one. This is being reported by Cam Edwards over at Bearing Arms. Let's bring it up here. It says California sues 2A activists for unlawfully distributing computer code. California Attorney General Rob Bonta has filed lawsuit against Catalog Foundation, Control Pew, and several individual 2A activists for unlawfully distributing computer code for 3D printing firearms and prohibited firearm accessories, and for promoting and facilitating the unlawful manufacture of 3D printed firearms and firearm accessories. Under California laws that prohibit the distribution of computer code for printing gun parts to those without a license, and knowingly, willfully, and recklessly aid, abet, promote, or facilitate the unlawful manufacture of firearms, which includes the manufacture of a firearm using a 3D printer by an unlicensed person. Now, I don't know if you remember back in the day, Mike, but there was actually a story that I was a part of where the Firearms Policy Coalition, we actually did this very same thing. Someone put something out and they shut them down, and we put out a website that had all of this code that's available out there. And the whole idea was exactly what is happening is we wanted the federal government, we wanted the state government of California to sue us. And so now they've finally done it. So now we're going to find out, is code speech?
Yeah, exactly. And listen, just to point out that the name of that company is Gatalog, like, my gat, so it's kind of ironic there. Craig, it's so everybody want to understand that. And now if I have a 3D printer, I have to be licensed to have it. Is that what you're saying? I've got to be licensed to print things. Is that
well, you have to be licensed to print a 3D firearm, but so they're assuming that if you send something, if somebody has something, if you have the plans to do 3D printing, print a gun, and you have the 3D printer, they're saying, well, now you've committed a crime.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Listen, bite me, California. Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro. Listen, come get me. If DeSantis don't get you at the border, I'll get you at the end of the driveway.
Now, mind you, this is the same government that doesn't ban the ownership of what is it called, the Anarchist Cookbook.
Yeah.
You go to a public library, the Anarchist Cookbook is in there. And I'll teach you how to make all sorts of things that can do damage, that are, by the way, illegal.
Yes, the same government that sends the SWAT team to pull you off of a kayak in the ocean.
Yeah, well, okay. In their defense, they didn't send the SWAT team. They did, however, send half a dozen sheriffs.
And the helicopter, and
yes,
and
they did.
Yeah.
The same folks, the same exact folks. Anyway, I'm just gotta love California, because once again, this is a case where they're gonna lose. And what I will say about, the sad part is that there's a lot of stuff that Californians are going to have to deal with. But by the end, when it makes its way through the courts, by the way, and it'll make its way through the courts a lot faster, thanks to Donald Trump appointed justices.
That's right.
We're going to have an opportunity to really hear is code speech. And I think you're going to find, because see, they believe, the gun grabbers believe that if you believe in your Second Amendment rights, all of your other rights become suspect. And freedom of speech is one of them. And it's one of the most protected rights, even by the left. So I'm really interested to see exactly where they come down, not where they come down on this. I want to see how hard they come down in defense of freedom of speech in this particular case.
Yeah, and this is great. If I recall, this story is one that the ACLU was involved in before defending the First Amendment rights here, putting them in that spot of defending First Amendment rights, talking about Second Amendment.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And I will give the ACLU California some credit. There were a number of free speech cases that they stood with us on gun rights stuff, and it was quite simple. It was like, look, this is speech. I'm like, you can't call yourself a organization that believes in protecting constitutional rights and then ignore it because guns.
That's right.
All right. Anyway, folks, that now brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holster. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word. Get your discount today. All right, this is a unique aspect. This is a very, very unique candidate. So I figured I would give him an opportunity to run his political commercial on our airwaves, because I think he brings a unique political perspective, one that ought to be considered.
For most of recent history, 20-year-old girl opinions have been the cornerstone of media, entertainment, and online political discourse. And for that reason, I am the first person running a candidacy fueled entirely by the opinions of 20-year-old girls. Hi, James, grown man with the opinions of a 20-year-old girl here. Could I be counting on your vote this election? Sure, Biden has 20-year-old girl talking points and Trump's like a 20-year-old girl on Twitter, but my opinions just finished a few semesters of a liberal arts degree. I'm promising simple solutions to complex issues, to have zero problem holding conflicting opinions. Under my presidency, America will borrow all money on a high-interest credit card and then deal with that in 5 years, which is like forever away. I'm so sorry to bother you when Mercury's in retrograde, but I'd love to tell you about my plan to get rid of homelessness by giving every homeless person $1 billion. My healthcare plan is to provide every citizen with a therapist that will tell them nothing's their fault. My stance on that will depend on what I most recently learned in class, but I can promise you I will criminalize being a meanie. I plan to offer neighboring countries unsolicited advice while making sure that our country is ostensibly a fucking mess. My entire caucus will be sloppy drunk by 9 p.m. under the guise of self-care. Good question. I'm going to give them more money. 400 new holidays for finding yourself. Yeah, I think the funding's going to go up for that one, yeah. Problematic police? No more police. People not obeying COVID rules? Hire more police to arrest them. And I vow to put off getting my driver's license indefinitely. Now, Ms. Anderson, would you be interested in a candidate who will find out about U.S. atrocities in real time and lecture you about them in real time? Did someone say celebrity endorsements? 80% of Twitter hashtags are written by girls in their 20s, and I'm going to make damn sure that those Twitter hashtags represent 110% of my policy decisions. Someone who will stand up for America by making ludicrous proposals and claiming to be unheard when not met. I may be a white man, but my opinions identify as a 20-year-old girl.
I met this candidate today. They don't know that they're the candidate, but I met him.
You know, it's funny the way you introed it. I thought you were going to be referring to the the Sham Wow guy. I don't know if you saw that. The Sham Wow guy is now running for Congress in Texas.
Oh wow. Okay, we'll have to find one of his campaign commercials.
Yep.
All
No,
right.
it's for real. Sham Wow guy. He's running. Well, it's a seat currently held by a Republican, but he's running in the primary against him.
Now the question is are his campaign commercials going to be like his ShamWow commercials?
Well, of course. I mean, yeah, they're on,
it's
they're on
kind of
YouTube,
got
yeah.
it's kind of got to be okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone who has ever had a teenager, and I will say this, my teenagers only one of them kind of tried to have this attitude, but dare not utter the words. But I have a lot of friends who have teenagers, and they've been right here.
I also have a 14-year-old daughter, and I gave her a chore list with 3 words on it, and she goes, "Where's your chore list?" You ever had a kid say something to you that then they're serious, but then you almost ruin it because you laugh? That's when I was like, oh, God, what? And I just go, what did you say? And she goes, "Where's your chore?" She slowed it down like I actually didn't hear her, you know? So I said, everything that happens in this house to make this home operate, subtract the 3 things I asked you to do, and that is my chore list. Remember when you woke up in a bed, warm and not hungry? Fucking check. I did that shit. I said, my chore list also has 3 words on it, and it says, keep her alive. And it expires in 4 years, so focus.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Definitely good stuff. Now, this last one, with Super Bowl Sunday coming up, there's always an opportunity for conflict. And I figured, why not? This is a pro-marriage tip that I think all of the guys out there will appreciate. And you will definitely appreciate the deftness with which he delivers it.
Pro-marriage tip, don't ever help your wife. Because that's basically telling her that she's failing at a task. So, I do not help. All I do is just stand nearby like an emotional support animal. And it's basically just like having life.
Yep. Very true. Very true.
I wonder how much timing it took for them to get that right.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yep.
Yeah, for those of you who are listening, his wife was hurling things at him as he was continuing to give the advice.
Yep. And he was blocking them away.
Yes, he was. Good stuff. All right, folks. So that brings us to the end of our program. But before we go, we're going to give one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Right. Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. They got AR barrels that you need. They got rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire. They also have a whole mess of regular rifle and shotgun barrels and pistol barrels as well. Check them out at hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, EMS, whatever kind of gear you can have, they got this kind of gear. Get on over there with your agency. Place an order at uscombatgear.com where you get everything except the gun.
Once again, folks, please take a moment, visit our sponsors. You can find them by following the links in the description to this program. And with that, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. We're going to call it a week. In fact, this show is over. We're going to be back on Monday. Fun day, gun day. Till then, y'all have fun. Stay safe. We will see you on the flip side.